my friends like, support me in such positive ways. And they're like, dude, just don't stop. Like whatever you do not stop. Like never stop doing this. And that's that right there kind of yanks at my heart in a way that like I do feel like I have a duty to keep going and to keep building this thing, because I do see there's all these amazing things that happen around something as simple as a band. You see much more deeper connections of life that are happening between your fans and other fans and your family coming together and getting to share something. It gives people a reason to care about something, and something that is way cooler than a lot of the stuff that is going on these days in the world, in my opinion.
We were like, why don't we do something with this? Like, let's start a group to inform the community of music and things that are going on in the area, and kind of give people who maybe are solo out there who don't have other friends that are into the same kind of music an opportunity to meet up and feel a part of this group, and then be able to go to shows together and network and find new friends.
Hey. Cheers, you guys.
Well, hell yeah. So this is the first time we're having just Pickel on this Weird Music podcast. We did a chat a while back. Dude, one thing that stuck with me, you mentioned you had a music teacher in school that didn't necessarily put you in a box. She was really adamant about, instilling that creativity from you. Can you explain to me, kind of give me that story again?
Yeah. It was this specific, music teacher who was a band director at our high school. It was a combination of her and also another lady who was my piano teacher, who lived next door to me when I was growing up. It was kind of a relationship between the two of them that kind of, at first I was kind of in this situation at a young age, getting pushed into piano lessons and stuff like that. And I wasn't really about it at all. And then this other teacher, Janice Stockhouse, she was the one who kind of reinforced what the first lady was opening up for me. And that's kind of what brought it all together. And I chose to actually pursue music. Josie, my piano teacher, I just gonna give like a little overview. Basically, this lady, Josie, she was just, like everything and more that you would want out of a grandmother and a friend and a neighbor. I mean, she was just the most beautiful person ever. But she really, I think at the heart of when I was a young age, a door that she opened up for me that I don't think a lot of people they don't get this kind of opportunity, is she kind of noticed that I enjoyed kind of approaching the keyboard in a non-traditional way. And so I really enjoyed kind of spanning the whole keyboard and really just kind of banging on it and like just get, almost playing it percussively. And I would close my eyes when I played. And so she would always pretend for the first 5 minutes that I would show up that she had something else to do and she was too busy, she said, you go ahead and get started and I'll just, I'll catch up with you here in a minute. And she would never turn the lights on in the room that I was in. And so looking back, I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird, but I know what she was doing. She was trying to set me up in a situation where I was able to truly just play from an improvisational level as a 5-year-old and just really just tap into this uncontrolled, untamed, free thought form, which at the time, I don't know why I liked it so much. I just really enjoyed the feeling of every now and then accidentally hitting a combination of notes that did sound really good as I trudged through tons of other stuff that sounded absolutely horrible, obviously, just a 5-year-old banging on a keyboard. But every now and then I just had that little moment, and that reward was strong enough for me to want to continue to do it again. And then we would finally get to, the classical stuff where we're learning how to read music and stuff like that. And I was, trying to scoot out the door as quickly as possible, pretty much. But yeah, so as I kind of moved on from that, then Janice Stockhouse, when I got into, the high school age of playing music, I had played a few other horned instruments like saxophone, baritone, and like I was like trying to play the trombone in a jazz band and couldn't read music for shit really, but I could I could improvise. And that was my thing, was I was able to, get in front of a room of people in an auditorium and just get up there and just, play something that sounded cool. Even though I had no idea what I was really doing, I just knew it sounded cool and it felt good to me. What Janice Stockhouse did that was correct was that she never dove into the specifics of music. She never really got into these extremely specific directive things. She conceptualized everything and kept it vague. And she made all these assimilations to different things in life. And, instead of saying, play this melody like you're, like you're whatever, like you're trying to play it really well or something. Instead, she would say, play it like you just bought a big bag of oranges and you're walking out of the grocery store and you got a smile on your face and it's sunny outside. So like that kind of thing, I think I enjoyed much more than somebody telling me directly how to play something correctly. It was about this general attitude and this general feeling of, it's the whole thing of, it's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it, which I think is, that is at the root why we like certain music and certain musicians and why we don't like other ones, is because it's the way they're saying it, it's not how perfectly they're saying what they're saying. So I would say that was probably like one of the biggest concepts for me, really enjoying the way that she was displaying stuff. And when she was like teaching the blues, like the way that she would use phrases, and she would make us basically get up in front of class and pretty much like freestyle, basically, which is kind of weird, but like it really was at the core. That's what we were doing, is we were kind of like improvising words in the form of the concepts of the music that she was trying to teach us and the conceptual lessons that we had, through music. So definitely not boxing us in at all, and keeping us excited and fresh and like laughing, having a good time, and not taking anything too seriously. That was a lot of the other things that she was doing that was making it much more enjoyable, and looking forward to getting to that period in school and wanting to go to that class and have fun and get out of your comfort zone a little bit and, do a little jazz freestyling, I guess, whatever. But yeah, that's a lot of what I enjoyed the most, I'd say.
That is awesome. There's like nothing as amazing as great teachers, man.
Of course.
You mentioned the attitude, like, of approaching improvisation. I'd love to hear you kind of go a little bit more in detail about just kind of the approach you yourself, and then, especially just Dizgo as a band, takes to improvs.
Okay. Yeah. And that's actually a pretty good topic to talk about, because it's been actually a pretty active topic in just the band right now. We are diving into different forms of improvisation, because there's an entire spectrum when it comes to that, loosely improving, or taking that leap of faith and just saying, hey, whatever comes our way, feeding off the other people in the room, or, off each other and everything. In Dizgo, the way that we kind of journey through a lot of our improv sections, because I mean, as you know, there's no shortage of guitar solos in Dizgo. We have plenty of guitar solos happening all the time. I
saw him rip a solo here at the Halloween show. Sure.
Yeah, he's got better chops than I was expecting. I was hearing some that inflatable guitar scream a little bit there. But yeah, so I think a lot of times when we're talking about when we're like at practice and we're rehearsing and stuff, a lot of the things that we try to think about when we are finding what kind of level of improvisation is, it is this attitude. It's this feeling of what is it that what kind of face do you want to be making while you're improvising? Like, does it make you kind of want to be like, or is it kind of like, like, are you being taken over by the music, or are you kind of controlling it, or are you letting it control you? So I kind of go to like funny things like, what kind of face would I pair with that solo? And then also, like, weirdly enough, sometimes we back out even farther and we're like, we talk about like kind of what colors it brings to mind. You know, we even think about like, this is totally like, you know, like a red ball covered in like, you know, pink lightning bolts kind of feeling, you know, and you can kind of describe with imagery a little bit of the attitude using imagery and stuff like that. And then getting back to some of the stuff that Janice Stockhouse kind of told us, we would use kind of some of these like kind of phrases that's like, damn, you know, this is the new shoes, you know, this is the feeling you get when you get new shoes and you're walking down the street and everyone's staring at your new shoes like you're showing off a little bit or like whatever. So kind of keeping it, you know, in these ranges that have nothing to do with music at all, really, but it's this attitude that's paired with stuff. And I think trying to get everybody in the group to feel similar in those feelings is our ultimate goal, you know, so that way we can feel like all three of us have that new pair of shoes, or all three of us, you know, have whatever it is. That's really when we get into the actual, you know, slowing down from from playing for a minute and actually talking about what it is the attitude is. And it definitely comes from the person who's leading and is the lead voice in the improv section. But a lot of times, you know, as like if I'm on top and kind of, you know, I'm the lead voice, I still, you know, am in harmony, so to speak, with the attitude that the bass line has. So we have a little bit of these combination attitudes that like happen, you know, in these feelings where we bring in a little bit of, you know, this like more supportive, empathetic kind of like bass line, and letting the guitar like do more of the talking. But then in any type of conversation, you have to balance this conversation out to where everyone in that conversation is kind of having somewhat of a balanced input into the conversation. So Kevo might be, you know, playing a bass line that has a different attitude that I have, but it's in relation, and you have to have that voice in the conversation to make it a real conversation, I suppose. The level of improv completely depends on the nature of everything. The show that you're at, the room that you're in, the state of mind that you were in that day, and kind of, you know, also like what kind of show situation it is. If we're in a hometown setting and we're playing for a group of people that have seen us maybe, you know, 15 or 20 times, we're going to go off the deep end a little bit more and try to take those risks a little bit more seriously and go a little bit farther. And that with any risk, you have the chance of maybe like slipping into some area that you didn't think you were going to end up. And you're like, how the hell am I going to get out of this thing, you know? But it's all about the fun ride into that situation and kind of having fun with finding your way back to the actual song that you're playing. And that is a big topic that we're talking about right now, because with the amount of improvisational time that there is in Dizgo music, and there only being 3 players in the band, we do have to kind of explore some new territory as we keep writing new songs and getting into new things. And so we've kind of brought in a few different just like technical things with Kevo's rig specifically to be able to allow him to do a little bit more of engaged improvisation and allow the guitar to do some more rhythm kind of stuff. So right now the songs we're writing and stuff are involving that kind of relationship. But I love going as far as we can go and letting a song turn into a 15-minute song when it was supposed to only be a 4 or 5 minute song. That I have no problem with that. And you know, Kevo seems to be a little bit more of a foundation member, and I'm kind of more the like, gotcha, you know, like whatever, let's go. And so that's important. We need both people in the band to be able to kind of get the best product that we can get and the best sounding tunes that we can get. So this whole topic of improvisation is huge to us right now, and we did spend the last year. As we transitioned into playing with Eric Ottinger full time on the drums, that was our main source of really discovering what our next wave of sound was going to sound like and what our next wave of new songs was going to be like. We played a lot of practices out that were very little talking. It was a lot of just coming together and just playing. And we still, to this day, this has always kind of been a thing, but we still hold true to starting pretty much every practice with at least a short improv thing. We turn on our instruments, and there are some where we don't have time to do it if we're, getting ready for a big show that's right around the corner or something. But 99% of our practices are started with an improv session, and just taking that 10, 15 minutes to just not really talk, but come together and speak musically to each other and be able to kind of exercise that creative muscle and keep it in shape. So that way, when you get into tunes that are more structured, you can still hold on to that fire and that spark that you have in those moments.
Dude, I love hearing you talk about this. Those like uncharted waters, like being at the show, it's such a unique thing coming out. Like it's improvised on the spot. It's a lot of it's never been done before. There's been a shortage of live music over this last year. Friend groups have formed around music.
Absolutely.
We got Indy Flock Fam right here.
Yee! Woo!
Dizgo's played with the Pigeons boys, and Indy Flock Fam is, yes, it's Indy Flock, but they're all about Dizgo. Honestly, I think it was Indy Flock Fam that really got me hip to Dizgo. I'd heard about it, but having people like Ryan kind of really ring that bell. It's huge, the way bands are the center of friend groups and really how meaningful and significant some of our favorite musicians are in our lives. Do you feel a significance around getting to be this musician that honestly, in some situations is kind of the center of friend groups?
I feel, blessed to be able to be in the position that I am and being able to be rallied around and be looked up to. But I also at the same time kind of feel like it's taken a lot of years before I really kind of considered myself, I guess, in a way, like worthy, I guess, of being in the position. Because I don't know. I feel like I kind of tried to get away from it a few times in my life where I definitely didn't take it seriously enough to where I thought that I would actually, be in my 30s and playing in a band. I didn't really think that was going to happen. And it kind of felt like music and this being in a group thing, kind of chose me, I guess, a little bit. And I needed to finally stop fighting it and embrace it and just say, look, you can actually do this. And you are the thing that you look up to in other people in your own way. And so I had to kind of mull it over with myself a little bit before I got to this point of even acknowledging that I was kind of actually, going to be able to take a musical project to a level where we do have, friends and fans and family rallying around a common cause. What it feels like to me is it feels almost a little bit like duty, I guess, a little bit. I feel like I have a duty that I have to live up to. And I'm contributing to something larger that I can, I guess I'm all about the concepts and analogies. Sorry if I go way too much on this. The guys in the group, they they get a healthy dose of it every practice. But I guess if I was going to kind of put it into another concept, I kind of feel like I'm helping build the vocabulary, I guess, of a language, so I'm not going to develop my own language necessarily with one band or with one song, but I'm helping build some of the words that feed into the larger language of music itself and the whole history and legacy of music and what it is and how many thousands of years it's been around, or billions before us. Who knows? I mean, we're not going to go all the way that far, but I do feel like if this thing keeps coming to me and I can harness it in this life, I have to keep doing what it is that is calling for me to do it. I have to keep going. And my friends support me in such positive ways. And dude, just don't stop. Like whatever you do not stop. Like never stop doing this. And that right there kind of yanks at my heart in a way that like I do feel like I have a duty to keep going and to keep building this thing, because I do see there's all these amazing things that happen around something as simple as a band. You see much more deeper connections of life that are happening between your fans and other fans and your family coming together and getting to share something. It gives people a reason to care about something, and something that is way cooler than a lot of the stuff that is going on these days in the world, in my opinion. And so I think what it means to, I guess, like be able to be a musician is to contribute to something bigger than me and build something kind of as a form of like mankind. We're trying to build this entire empire of thing that has no boundaries inside of it. There is no race, there is no gender, there is nothing inside of music that separates us. It is all its own totally unique thing that we can all share. You know, even deaf people can share music, you know, like the same way that somebody who can hear can. It's just it reaches on a plane and a dimension that other things can't penetrate. And I feel like I got to be a part of that, because I was blessed with some ability to be able to organize thoughts in a way that I can get some other people to kind of understand the words that I'm saying, whether it's musically or with lyrics or whatever it might be. So I feel like I got to keep doing that. And that's where I want to be growing all the time, because it does help you grow within yourself. It helps other people grow inside themselves and with other people too. It's just one of the strongest forces I think that I've ever been confronted with. It's just absolutely huge. And so yeah, I mean, I've kind of strayed away a little bit from the question, but yeah, duty and like honor and love, like those things like come to mind very quickly when I think of like what it means to be like in a band that rallies people together and gets friends together. And I now have amazing friends that I would have never met, obviously, without music, such as Ryan and yourself. You know, without music, who knows if we would have, met each other or not. And I mean, I hope we would have, no matter what, because you guys are stellar guys. But yeah, that's I guess I'll leave it at that.
I love hearing you speak, Pickel, man, dude. Or not, Ryan, man. I'd love to hear you, kind of rap about the story of Indy Flock Fam.
Boy, well, I mean, it's really brought a lot of amazing people into my life. The core group of us who met at a pigeon show, we were all kind of going through different things in our life, and we all kind of needed each other to get through that specific thing that each one of us was going through. We all met at a pigeon show, and then we kind of got together and we're talking in a group chat. And we were like, why don't we do something with this? Like, let's start a group to inform the community of music and things that are going on in the area, and kind of give people who maybe are solo out there who don't have other friends that are into the same kind of music an opportunity to meet up and feel a part of this group, and then be able to go to shows together and network and find new friends. So yeah, we started the page and we try to like keep it updated with shows. It's not pigeon specific. It's not necessarily Indiana specific, but we do like to keep people informed of what shows are coming up. Hangs before shows. Obviously pre-COVID it was a lot easier to get people together before a show. But yeah, it's really brought a lot of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life together. And even I've heard from several band members that I talked to that it's been a good platform for them to get some exposure that they may not have been able to get. Started it three years ago. Now I think we're pushing like 800 members or something like that. So it's been really crazy to see that kind of blow up with that many like-minded people that were interested in sharing that together.
Has building this like mini community, like what have you learned through, like what has that shown you?
It's just shown me the amount of amazing people who have the same mindset that you don't necessarily realize are out there, that maybe you bump into them at a show, but like that we have this platform where we're able to put posts up and say, hey, like if you're going to this show by yourself, come through for a bite and a drink before the show and we'll go rock the show together. I met so many people that were like, man, I was at that show before. I was at that show. I was like, yeah, me too. And now we all know we're, going to be at these shows together.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I would just chime in and say that I think that the Indy Flock Fam and in general, the people that do flock around you guys, they are just some of the most positive people I've ever been around, and have even saved some Dizgo shows that we thought were going to be low number shows in a new market or something. And like when you guys came through Urbana, that one, I mean, you guys just brought the entire life to that show. You guys have a way of totally the term, the Indy Flock Fam does. I couldn't think of any better term. You guys really do flock and bring so many good positive vibes. It's really awesome. I can't believe how big it is now. It's amazing.
That's another one of our favorite things to do is support our local bands, and just really give them the support and just getting the word out there to as many people as we can to share that. Like, man, we've got these really good people in this band. Like, listen to them. We push and push. And I'm always in people's ear for a long time, dude. Check out Dizgo. And like one day, like some of our out of town friends, like one day they're going to play with Pigeons. And I play with Pigeons, and I think that finally got some of those out of towners that maybe were a little hesitant just to come see a local band. At least they would come see Pigeons, and then they got to see you guys. And I'm like, damn, you were right. I'm like, been trying to tell you. Really cool. I was kind of butthurt about Dome getting canceled last year when you guys got put on that, because that was something we were all really looking forward to.
Yeah.
Hopefully in the next year a real Dome might happen when some of this stuff's passed, and we'll get more exposure to even people who are further away that can't necessarily make the drive to any of the indie shows. Or I know you guys got a big following out in Colorado, which is really cool to see. I think the Ohio fam's definitely catching on right now too. So
for sure. Yeah.
If you're listening right now, definitely go ahead, go on Facebook, search Indy Flock Fam, search Dizgo Inferno, keep your eye there. If you're in the Midwest, like if you're traveling through, like there's obviously awesome community there, super welcoming. Like I've gone to shows alone and I've made awesome friends at shows, and it's an epic thing to bring someone into such an evidently amazing, small community. I think it's so fucking cool.
Well, I've got some more serious questions and some kind of off the wall funny questions, but I'll kind of save those funny ones, I think.
Okay.
But you did mention when you were talking about doing improvs at specific venues where kind of you could play a specific way or feel, a little more open to explore a little further. I know the Bluebird being in Bloomington, being your guys' kind of like home venue. What's your favorite venue that you like to play, or maybe your favorite venue that you've ever played, and like what makes it that way?
I think a lot of it is like who's gonna be there is probably the largest factor. But I mean, I'd say like right now, because this, the answer to that question will change as the years go on. But right now, I'd say that one of my favorite venues to play is actually down in New Albany, Indiana. The first show that we just did a couple weeks ago. Basically, this place is called. It's actually the Floyd County Brewing Company, but the venue's name is the Enchanted Forest, and they just have a very unique thing going down there. And really, what makes it so cool is obviously our Louisville area, which New Albany is just across the river from Louisville. I think it's our fastest growing market right now for Dizgo shows. We have been we started out in a venue called Time and Space there. It was kind of a joke because they had They had all the time in the world, but no space at all. We could play. They had us play for like 5-6 hours, but we couldn't even fit on the stage as a 3-piece. So, I think just the excitement of going down there, and there does tend to be, it seems like there's a little bit more of, people seem to care a lot about music down there. We're finding more and more people in that area that are just genuine music fans, and they love, bands that are happening right now, and they want to see stuff happening. It's a breath of fresh air. So I'd say that, like, this place, the Enchanted Forest, a mixture of it being that there is, a large rise in attention for the band down there. The fact that their venue is very cool. They have trees growing through the stage, if that says anything, and they have some fire production. They're still building it up. And I think, in the same way that, fans like to see their bands growing and rising, the same way that I'm kind of enjoying watching that venue grow and rise itself. It was just a few years ago, or actually just a couple of years ago, it was the first time we played there. And I think it was on a Sunday. I believe it was a Sunday, and it was kind of like on our way home, I think from like Asheville or something like that. And the guys were like pretty, iffy about playing it. My childhood best friend is the head brewer at the brewery there. So he had kind of got me plugged in and was like, you guys should play down here. We'll hook you up with free beer and food, and, you guys might make a little bit of money and stuff. And so we stopped in there on a Sunday on the way home, and it was like, we played like on the sidewalk, like outside their grain house, and just like we were with Andrew Getty on lights, and we brought in like this just hilariously huge production for playing on the sidewalk, and brought like a massive PA. And I think we just turned some heads down there, and people were like, what is this? Like, what is going on? Is the biggest show they'd ever had there. And I think, at that point in time, we kind of sparked a little something in the owner, Brian Hampton. We sparked something in his mind, and he was ready to build himself a legitimate venue and start getting something real happening. And he saw himself as possibly being able to have the best venue in his town. And over the last few years, he's really proven himself for that to be true. And they are now definitely the #1 venue in New Albany. And they have, just all this amazing cool stuff. You should just check it out. Check out their pictures. You can see what they got. It's around that river valley life. I don't know. There's something different about it down there that has it's a vibe. And I personally just really like that vibe of everywhere that we play that's in the Ohio River Valley just seems to be like a cool place. So I'd say right now, that's one of my favorite places to be. Yeah.
Yeah, got a lot of homies down there.
Yeah.
A couple of shows you guys played at the Melwood. Shout out.
Oh yeah, got a lot of love for those guys. Melwood Tavern is the best, man. So many good guys down there.
It's a little bar, but there's a lot of music love down there, and a lot of people who really, really dig Dizgo down there. So that's really nice to see.
Dude, I love the way you like find your way down rabbit holes as you speak. Like how I can see your mind like expanding through what you're saying. Like you can just go off like on some conversation right now. You feel like you see communication, whether that be musically or with words, in a way that's slightly unique. Like, how would you describe the way you see language and communication to like a younger cousin?
It's kind of weird. I was kind of talking about something similar today with somebody because, just to be perfectly honest, like right now, just with my whole my work and my life and the season and getting ready for shows and writing and all this stuff, it's a very crazy time right now. When I was speaking to somebody earlier about it, the way I was kind of talking about it was I felt like I was like trying to read a book, but I was like so close up to the words that I couldn't actually really see anything. I was trying, everything is so close to your face that you can't really just back up and see the big picture. And I guess a lot of times whenever I get into a good, healthy conversation with somebody, or especially when we're playing music and things are clicking really nicely, it's kind of like that life, when it, the book of life that you're reading or whatever, instead of it being kind of pressed up against your face like this to where you can't see the words and everything, you're able to kind of just lay it down, get it out of your face, and hold it flat out in front of you. And you can kind of see off into the distance. You can see more off to your left, more off to your right, and you can gauge what is necessary to do and how to get your thoughts aligned to be able to reach the things that you're trying to reach, I guess. That's very vague and kind of like out there, but like, I don't know. It's about stepping back, I suppose, and seeing a more broad picture of things. Because in any given day, it's very easy to become overwhelmed and frantic and manic over the amount of stuff that needs to be done. And being able to step back and kind of set goals that are at different tiers of timelines, I guess, allows me to personally be able to understand life on a level that you can, be able to create projects and goals and everything and reach them. If I zoom out a little bit and lay that book down out in front of me and quit holding it so close that I try to read every word perfectly, I'm able to kind of just line things up a little bit in a way, more in a way that they make sense. And you can kind of trust the system a little bit more and just let everything roll along, rather than trying to control every situation and read every word exactly the way that it is.
What's going on in the world of disco? Like, working on any albums, live albums? Like, what can the homies expect?
We just actually released our soundboard recordings from a live stream that we did in Indianapolis. We recorded it in Andrew Getty's from Getty Sound and Lights. It's his warehouse that he has up in Indianapolis, and it doesn't look like a warehouse in the video at all, but we spent a lot of time, and all his crew did a really good job at setting it up in a way that it looked like a legitimate stage, and it looked very professional. And we were just excited to have, this opportunity to play with live lights. Honestly, we were able to be the guinea pigs for their production crew to test drive a bunch of new video gear that they were thinking about buying. So they rented a bunch of very, very nice video gear that I'm pretty sure they ended up purchasing it because it's just really nice gear. But we got to be their guinea pigs to try out these new cameras. And we were like, what better way to do it than to record a performance? Let's do this. So we recently just got the soundboards done for that. And that is available on Bandcamp, and we are going to release it on YouTube soon with the full video and everything. So with that stream, we also released, I'm not sure exactly how many, I think like 5 or 6 new songs. So it was a lot of new material. And we kind of, pushed ourselves really hard to bring together a lot of the ideas that we were, maybe not quite finished with yet, but we needed a reason to finish them. So that is full of new stuff for Dizgo and some new songs that have, I think, a little bit more of a new sound, like what we're sounding like right now. With that, we've been booking a lot of shows right now, a lot of them that nobody knows about yet. But we are going to keep the surprises coming, and we are, really excited just to see our calendars filling up. Right now, we're hustling and writing music, and we're booking the hell out of shows. And through all this, we're going to have a lot of new material because, like I was saying earlier, we're definitely focusing on, as a band, kind of, polishing a little bit more of the craft of improvisation inside the group. But we're also wanting to build our whole catalog of music. And as some songs may disappear, we want 5 more new ones to come in the place of one that disappears. A lot of this effort in this band, when we come together, has been on a level that, no one really sees. It's us working here at our rehearsal space and busting our chops to be able to come out swinging this summer. We're thinking this next late fall and winter time, we're going to take some time and try to record an album ourselves, because we now have all of the gear necessary. All of our soundboards and everything, we record, mix, master, release, promote, do everything. I was kind of joking around with Kevo the other day because like I was sitting back after we were, you know, done mastering the streams, and we had spent countless hours just, you know, in front of the computer, in front of the studio monitors, and just making notes after notes after notes and edits and all these things, and just, you know, learning how to do it ourselves. And I was just thinking, I was like, damn, man, you know, like it's taken, you know, Kevo and I like 17 years to like get to the point where we were trying to learn how to play an instrument, then to actually being in control of the entire musical process from thought to product. Everything in between is now done by Dizgo. Now we're looking into the future where any, you know, recordings that we're going to be doing, the next project will probably be self-recorded and self-produced. So expect maybe, you know, something 2022 to be next Dizgo full length album, probably. You know, I can't give you 100% on that, but I think it will probably, that's definitely what we're lining up to do.
That's a good way to like keep it pure and keep it from being tainted from any outside sources trying to change anything.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you know, we'll probably still send out the mixes to somebody else to master them. They do say that it's a very positive thing to have somebody else master your songs. You know, we worked with Anthony Thogmartin from Papadosio on our last two projects, and kind of been, you know, we've just, you know, kind of been friends with him for a while, and we've known him since all the way back in our Elephant Quiz days, whenever I was playing in our first band with Kevo. But so, you know, we might continue to work with him and ask him to see if he's got time to help master our next project, because, you know, we do turn to him for a lot of insight and, you know, stuff. He's, when you're talking about good teachers, that is somebody who is just, I don't know who else is better. You know, he is just top-notch teacher. I mean, he runs his own course and everything, you know, so it's something that we definitely want to continue working with other people to gain that perspective. But yes, like you're saying, it is nice to have the direction and the intention coming purely from us, rather than having a bunch of people try to tell us what it is that we're trying to do. You know, which that is a big battle, knowing what you want to do. And like now I feel like I'm just now getting to the point where I finally know what it is that I want to do. And because I have all the tools and we have all the things that now nothing can hold us back. We are just ready to go. And so I think this next year is going to be a huge step forward in our live sound, and a huge step forward in intentional songwriting. You know, and I've been doing a lot of work on trying to get better at capturing emotion and lyrics and things like that. So I think that it's only going to get better from here, you know, and this next year should be a big leap forward for Dizgo, I'd say.
I know it's been asked. I've heard it be asked. I don't know if we've ever gotten a straight up answer, but hair products, man, what do you got that makes it so fresh and healthy?
Yeah, today it's looking pretty good. It's kind of low humidity outside, you know. Really, I mean, I won't tell you everything, but I will say that, you know, quite a bit of not doing shit makes a big difference.
Natural beauty.
The more you fuck with it, the more it's gonna be ridiculous, it seems like. You know, I don't like shampoo it a bunch and shit. So I could try to keep it like, you know, more like water and my hands. You know, that's the easiest way. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how long I'm going to keep going with it, but right now it's looking pretty long, and I think I'm just going to let it flow through this whole summer and see what happens.
So I know through a mutual friend of ours, you and Sam had acquired a beehive.
Oh yeah.
How's that going?
It's very cool, and it wasn't like a totally intentional thing. So Samantha is like, you know, she's obsessed with honey and bees, and has always loved the concept of the hive and everything that happens with that. And she, you know, she has a honeycomb tattoo on her arm that was done by a tattoo artist, Garrett. And it just so happens, like, we had talked about it like a year ago, and we just didn't really know like where we were going to keep them. But we actually we bought a house last June, and so we had a little bit more of a permanent place, and it was kind of out in the north countryside of Bloomington. And oddly enough, coincidence, her tattoo artist Garrett and his lady had 9 beehives, and they were having a child and moving houses, and so they were trying to, you know, basically get their bees to new homes and with somebody who's going to take care of them. And Samantha, you know, messaged them about it, and they actually were very receptive and very cool, and were very open to getting us, you know, a lot of what we needed to have set up. So in short, basically they hooked us up with 2 beehives. One of them was very, very strong, and the other one was pretty weak and had a lot of lost bees over the winter time when it got so cold. And so we brought them down from Indianapolis, which was quite the experience, using the Dizgo band trailer to run up there and put you know, 40 or 50,000 bees into the trailer and bring them down. But yeah, so it's going really awesome. We have them set up on we have a fenced in backyard, and we put them on the other side of the fence so the dogs don't get into them. But like I was saying, one hive was very strong, and they were actually so strong that they what they call where they swarm, where they take their existing queen and leave, and they go make a new hive somewhere else, and the queen lays cells for a new queen to take over the colony that's there. And they did swarm recently, and luckily Samantha had met somebody who was kind of an expert in the whole thing, and he was able to come over, and he caught the swarm off of this giant root ball in our woods. And now both hives are doing great. And they, you know, Garrett and them, they sold us, you know, our suits. They sold us the, you know, the smoker, all the frames, a honey extractor, just an amazing deal for what they gave us. And so we are 100% set up, ready to go. And we believe that our one strong hive will definitely be producing some honey this summer. They're doing great, and it's a lot of fun. And it's nice, like, kind of interacting with a group of like insects like that really do kind of feel your energy, and you have to kind of like be conscious about the way that you're thinking and the way that you are, and you have to be in a very harmonious relationship with them. Otherwise they get pissed off, and you have to be kind of careful. But the whole thing is going really awesome. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's definitely, you know, it's something where you can kind of like be helping, you know, a little bit with the world, but it's also fun, and you get something that's like hands-on from it. You get a real product, and it's healthy for you, you know.
Dude, I love you both. I'm so glad we got to do this, man. Pickel,
me too.
I love hearing you talk, dude. I love the way you play. So excited about the Dizgo momentum. And Ryan, man, Indy Flock Fam, like, that doesn't really exist in a lot of places. Like, it's so fucking awesome that, you know, you're a part of, you know, bringing that together, as well as, you know, Jacob, and I know Sarah and Johan, and I don't know if you want to kind of shout out some of those homies, but you're such a good friend, man. You make me feel at home in Indiana, and dude, I love that we're all connected like this.
Man, I really don't think it would exist and be what it is without the high caliber of really caring, really genuine people that are in this small area, and we were lucky enough to find each other, and that's what's at the core of it, and that I think resonates out, and I think that's why it's a big draw, and why a lot of people feel so comfortable to come and stay in our houses with us, go out to eat with us. You know, it's the people that make it, man. I'm telling you, some of the best people I've met in my life.
Hell yeah. Yeah, and just I just want to make one comment that I'm pretty sure you and the Indy Flock Fam are definitely, I think, probably the textbook perfect dream for any promoter anywhere. you guys bring everything to the table that anyone would want to have at their show. You guys are just like literally, I mean, Dizgo appreciates you guys so much, and you know, we will continue to treat you guys, you know, with the best love that we can give, and we will always be so appreciative. And we're definitely going to also just keep knocking on Pigeon's door and see if they want to keep doing shows. So that way we can get a few more of those shows like we had in Louisville and Indy and Detroit again, because those are some of the most fun shows that I think I can think of as a band. You know, just especially all the people and just seeing how strong the Indy Flock was rocking. Especially up at that Detroit show, I saw you guys just tearing it up. I was staring at you guys almost the whole time while we were playing. So definitely, you guys feel like home. You know, you do. You feel like home.
I'll always be there, brother.
Hell yeah,
man.
Much love, man.
Many people to the shows as we can.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Well, this has been the Weird Music Podcast.
Woo!
Go ahead, go follow at Dizgo Band, right, on all the platforms.
Yep, that's right.
Yes, sir. And go ahead and join Indy Flock Fam on Facebook. I'm Cam. We got Ryan. We got Pickel. Thanks for listening.
Peace out.
Much love, guys. Peace.